Once upon a time in a kingdom of light and shadow, when Cinderella was a young child, her beloved mother passed away, leaving her alone in a world that would soon grow cold and unkind. She was treated as a lowly servant in her own home, forced to obey every cruel whim of her heartless stepmother and her two selfish stepsisters who took everything from her heart. Her life became a heavy burden full of hardship and sorrow, as she lived in the shadows of the kitchen far away from the warmth and love she once knew in her childhood. She worked every single day without a moment of rest, cleaning the floors and tending the fires until her hands were stained with soot, and her heart was weary of the struggle. In the quiet of the night, she stared at the distant castle and dreamed of a better life where she could be free from the tattered rags and the heavy chains of her constant labor. Then a flash of magic came into her life as her fairy godmother appeared with a shimmering wand and changed her fate with a single touch of glowing stardust and light. She became radiant and breathtakingly beautiful as her old rags dissolved into a gown of pure light that sparkled like the stars in the midnight sky and flowed like silk. She arrived at the grand royal palace feeling like she was walking in a dream as the gates opened to welcome her into a world of elegance and wonder beyond her imagination. All eyes turned toward her the moment she stepped into the ballroom as the guests whispered in awe of the mysterious girl who shone brighter than any jewel in the room. The prince, captivated by her beauty, approached her with a gentle smile and felt a connection that he had never experienced with anyone else in the history of the kingdom. They danced together across the polished marble floor, moving in perfect harmony, as if the music was written only for them and the rest of the world had completely vanished. In the soft glow of the palace, they fell deeply in love, sharing a moment of pure magic that they wished would last for all eternity under the golden chandeliers. But the warning of the midnight hour echoed through her mind, and she realized with terror that her time in this beautiful dream was running out with every tick of the clock. She rushed away from the prince without a word of explanation, running through the halls as the magic began to fade from her beautiful gown and the world turned cold. In her desperate escape down the palace stairs, she lost her single glass slipper, leaving it behind as the final chime of midnight rang through the air and broke the spell. It was the only clue left of the mysterious girl who had captured the prince's heart, and he vowed to find her no matter how long it took or how far he had to travel. The king demanded that the guards find the mysterious girl and ordered a search that would not end until the owner of the slipper was discovered and brought to the palace. The search began across the entire kingdom as the guards traveled to every house carrying the precious glass shoe on a velvet cushion for all the maidens to see. Many young women tried to fit their feet into the delicate slipper, but none succeeded, for the shoe belonged only to one special girl whose heart was as pure as glass. She was hidden away in a dark and dusty room by her stepmother, who hoped to keep the truth buried forever and prevent Cinderella from finding her true happiness. She waited in silence behind the locked door, listening to the sound of the world outside and praying that her prince would not give up his search for the girl he loved. The royal search finally reached her home, and the guards stood ready to test the slipper on every maiden in the house, according to the king's strict and holy decree. They searched everywhere from the grandest rooms to the smallest corners, ensuring that no one was hidden from the eyes of the law and the search for the truth. She finally appeared from the shadows, stepping into the light as the prince recognized the kindness and beauty that rags and soot could never truly hide from his eyes. The prince placed the glass slipper on her foot, and it fit perfectly with a magical glow that filled the room with hope and wonder for all who were present to witness. The truth was finally revealed to everyone, and the stepmother watched in shock as her plans to keep Cinderella a servant crumbled before her eyes into the dust. She transformed once more through the touch of magic, becoming a princess in a gown of gold as she prepared to leave her old life of sorrow behind her forever. She entered her new royal life with grace and joy, welcomed by the people who had heard the story of the brave girl who rose from the ashes to wear the crown. She was welcomed by the royal family with open arms, and the queen honored her with precious jewels as a symbol of her new place in the heart of the royal palace. Her fairy godmother watched over her from the shadows, smiling as she saw that the kindness Cinderella had shown was finally being rewarded by the world and the stars. They were married in a day of great joy and celebration, with the ballroom filled with flowers and the hearts of the entire kingdom filled with happiness and love. They lived happily ever after together, and as the sunset painted the sky in shades of gold and purple on the balcony, they knew that their love would be told as a legend.